Hello and welcome to Balanced Existence. Today I'm going to do a twin flame collective energy reading with the help of some tarot and oracle cards. And I do want to give a quick disclaimer about the egoic traps of the twin flame journey. I'm sure you are aware of them, but just before I begin to channel messages, please only take what resonates with your intuition. And if you find yourself relying on external validation through videos or through the messages that is channeled, then please take some time to recenter your energy and make sure that you're fueling and nourishing your internal state before you begin to seek external information or consume external content. And I know the twin flame journey can be extremely difficult and cause us to feel hopeless or loss of faith. And just know your angels and guides are here with you. They are right next to you. They are holding you. I'm getting chills just channeling into this. And they want you to know that you are not alone. You are not crazy. And what you're going through is a tailored journey for your soul. It's quite literally a gift for your soul. Although it doesn't feel like that, it is. So if you can keep that faith and keep that belief and trust your intuition and continue to open yourself to the whispers of your heart and the nudges of your soul, then you are on that journey in the best way that you possibly can be. So with that being said, I'm so happy you're here and you found this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you can get comfortable, maybe have a nice warm drink, and let's get right into it. So immediately I'm getting the King of Wands and the Four of Cups coming out together. So I feel very strongly that this King of Wands is representing the potential of the divine masculine. You, of course, take the genders as they resonate, or it doesn't have to resonate with genders is what I mean. But what I'm getting is that this message is for a divine feminine that you may identify as the chaser, you may identify as the divine feminine, but you're waiting and you're hoping for this potential from your divine masculine. And when you see your divine masculine, you see the King of Wands. And I'm getting chills just channeling into this. You see this respected authority figure that you can look up to, who can lead you, who can make you feel safe, who has passions, and who is somebody that you want to have a life with, and you see so much potential and so much beauty in the potential of you guys having a journey together. And with this King of Wands followed by the Four of Cups, I'm really strongly getting that this Four of Cups energy is the masculine. However, because I started the reading with a disclaimer about how you may feel hopeless, you may feel loss of faith, I don't know why that came through, but I'm feeling like this Four of Cups could very well be you, and that's why this card came out. So whether this is you and or your divine masculine, there is this sense of feeling like what you have is not enough. And as it relates to the King of Wands, your divine masculine doesn't feel like they're enough. And you may have heard this before, and you may just be so confused how he could feel that way, because when you see him, you see so much beauty and potential, and you admire them on such a deep level. But that's just the thing, is like, it almost doesn't make sense that they would feel that way about themselves. But of course, this Four of Cups, as I was tapping into the fact that it could be you, it could be the divine masculine, there's very much this mirroring energy going on. So you, Divine Feminine, have come through such a long portal of expanding and growing your sense of self-worth. And so when you first met your twin flame, I'm hearing this may have been a very long time ago, you may not have had strong self-worth at that time. And now you can look back and you feel like you've come so far, and now you feel like you've really improved upon that. But maybe you feel you have more work to go. Maybe you feel like you're in a really good space and you've been feeling really good about yourself because of all the inner work you're doing. And by the way, like, you should be so proud of how far you've come. If you are on a twin flame journey, your transformation is completely key to the success of your soul's journey and is something to be proud of, because it can be so difficult. And your choice to keep moving through and keep expanding is one of such bravery, and it really is your light shines so beautiful because, and so brightly because of your choice to carry on when times are tough and to continue to serve your soul and respect yourself and respect your growth. So with this Four of Cups, if you're feeling discouraged because you're waiting for your divine masculine to reach out, the message I'm hearing is to really shift your perspective onto the things that are around you that you're grateful for. And I know we've heard this before of gratitude, but it truly is a key part of your journey for you to learn to feel immense gratitude regardless of the external circumstance, is what I'm hearing. So on this twin flame journey, because it's such a mirroring and it's quite literally your soul in the other person, it is so important to understand that the twin flame journey is really not about that person and their physical form that they show up in this life. The twin flame journey is about you and your soul. And so if you're feeling hopeless about this other person, then there's a need for your energy to be directed back towards you. There's a need for that shift. And it can be really hard to alchemize this from nothing or from a state of lower frequency. But that's just it, is that when you commit to doing that, you really make leaps and bounds towards your soul's growth. And that is just completely critical to your soul's journey. So I want to know what else I can channel about this Four of Cups energy. Yeah, we're getting the 10 of Swords. Wow, paired with the 10 of Pentacles. Both of these 10 cards coming out right together. So the 10 of Swords is very much an ending, and this could be an ending that you're going through. If you are in contact with your divine masculine, you may be going through a separation right now, and that may be something that you really don't want to hear, and that can be very damaging for your ego. But what I'm getting is that it's necessary for this 10 of Pentacles result or outcome. And basically, these cycles of separation are truly gifts, because there's growth and expansion that could not happen with you and your divine masculine in contact. And again, our egos hate to hear this, but I'm just getting the message so strongly that allow it to fall off, because when it comes back, it's going to mean that much more. And so for those of you who are not in contact, I'm getting that this 10 of Swords is metaphorically representing the end of a way of existing. You've existed in a way that maybe had people pleaser tendencies or low self-worth, and you are really cutting off that journey, but what I mean to say is like that chapter is coming to a close. It's like you're cutting off that timeline so you can't proceed on it any longer, and you're switching to a different timeline that's going to lead you to the 10 of Pentacles. So let's see what else we can channel here. Yeah, we have the Queen of Cups. So I definitely feel like this is you, Divine Feminine. You are so embodied in your confidence, in just emotional growth and maturity, and the ability to stand up for what you need. I'm hearing that you may have been labeled as moody or too much, or like as if your emotions are some kind of flaw about your personality. And it's simply not true. With the Queen of Cups, you are stepping into this embodiment of knowing that what you have to offer in all of the emotions and the entire spectrum that comes with it is truly beautiful and valuable and full of light. And when you are embodying that Queen of Cups, you are, like I said before, you're respecting yourself, you're respecting your journey. And that's what's allowing you to have true success on this twin flame journey. And what do I mean by true success? We have the Hanged Man and the Two of Swords coming forward. And so what I'm feeling is that your angels and guides are wanting you to know that this twin flame journey, and when we say the success of your soul's journey, you can define that in any way that resonates for you. But what we're getting at here, and I'm getting chills, is the ability to recognize the duality of life and balance it internally. And that's why the twin flame journey is not about the other person. It's about you reaching union with the self and a complete balance of your internal masculine and feminine, right? Like you are not simply a divine feminine and nothing else, such that you need a divine masculine to be complete, right? You are a divine feminine, meaning that you more resonate with the feminine. Maybe you have a female body, like physical body, or you just resonate with that energy. Again, the gender does not have to correspond, but what we're getting at here is when you identify as divine feminine, we don't just mean that that's all you are. What we're saying by that is that you still have an internal divine masculine that is the container for your divine feminine. And maybe you externally present and portray yourself as divine feminine, but your divine masculine is still within you. It's not lost and it's not absent. And so with the Hanged Man, I'm feeling your angels and guides want you to understand that being able to see the balance in everything and see where there's feminine, there's masculine, right? Like any feminine trait that you can have, there's a just as valuable masculine trait, right? So, right, with the emotions versus your logic, things like that. So you may find that through interaction with your divine masculine, you are made aware, often in very triggering ways, you're made aware of the duality between the two of you. You're experiencing karmic lessons of emotion versus logic, where it becomes like a war of you versus this person, or it becomes these conflicting archetypes. But what the Hangman is showing you here is that whatever you have, you also have the opposite within you as well, right? And so whatever the divine masculine has that triggers you, you have that inside you as well, if that's your divine masculine. So if you're feeling triggered by something in the divine masculine, just know that you have that within you as well. And I don't know if you can hear, but there are sirens in the background. So I really believe that that's a message. If you've been not listening, or if you're thinking it doesn't resonate to you, to think again, because the sirens are kind of that alarm telling you that there's something here for you to take in. So anyway, with the Hangman, just recognizing the duality, but also that dualistic perspectives all come from the same source energy that we're all made of, right? And so that's where that compassion and acceptance can come in. And every human is on a journey to balance their internal feminine and masculine, even if they don't know it. A lot of the times, if you're feeling like the universe is against you, or if you're just feeling like life is really difficult, there's something out of balance within you. And most of the balance that we're seeking can be simplified into these archetypes of the masculine and the feminine. And so with the Two of Swords coming out as well, I feel that also goes hand in hand with the Siren of just feeling like, are you closing your ears or blindfolding yourself to the messages because maybe your ego doesn't want to hear? Your ego may not want to hear that your divine masculine's traits are actually valuable. Even if maybe the way that they're communicating or treating you is not acceptable, there's still something that you can learn from the scenario, which inherently gives it value. And so there may be perspective shifts that you're not opening yourself to, or there may be different ways of seeing the situation that you're not able to see because you're guarding yourself. And so there's still sirens I'm hearing in the background. I don't think you'll be able to hear it, but there's just a message here of really paying attention and recognizing that the triggers are a gift. And this, again, back to the idea of our twin flame journey being a gift. It truly is. Every trigger is a gift. Your angels and guides really want you to understand that every trigger you get is an opportunity for your soul. It's like stairs being placed in front of you. Yes, you have to climb the stairs, and that takes work, and that can make your legs tired, and maybe sometimes you feel like they're too steep, but the stairs itself are a gift because they're getting you higher in frequency. They're getting you closer to reaching the top of the mountain, if you will. So just remembering that as you get triggered, of course, we're going to have those automatic responses that come from our brain, but if you can remember, the sooner you can remember and the more often that you can remember that it's a gift, the more you will be able to not only calm yourself in the moment, but really reach that union of self where you're completely surrendered and at peace you're surrendered to the fact that you don't have control over the other person and over most of the external situations and events that happen in your life. And so when you accept that and you go inward, that's when you start to, from that surrendered state, tap into that creator energy. And again, that also comes from that balance of the internal masculine and feminine. So what else can I channel about this? We have the King of Cups coming out. So right after the Queen of Cups, we have the King of Cups, and we also have the Judgment. So wow, these are very significant cards coming out here. And I'm getting with the King of Cups followed by the Queen of Cups. It's interesting because as this story is being told, we had the Queen of Cups, and then we had the Hangman and Two of Swords, which was our message about, making sure that you are opening yourself to different perspectives. And then after that, we have the King of Cups. And I was just talking about balancing that internal feminine and and that's where the King of Cups came through. So before I talk about the Judgment, I really want to take a moment to talk about masculine and feminine, because I feel really strongly that this is a message that somebody needs to hear. And so I want to just do like a quick overview of what that would look like to have a balanced feminine and masculine, because I feel like this is a key part of reaching union with the self. And although we know that union with the self results in twin flame reunion, we're not doing it for that purpose necessarily, but we're doing it for respect and commitment to our own soul's journey. And so with the with this balance happening here, I really feel like this is I'm hearing this is the most important thing that you can do right now. Your spirits and guides want you to understand that the balance of the feminine and masculine, if you do nothing else, this is what you should be focusing on. And so when we talk about feminine and masculine, we're talking about the feminine being the internal world, your emotions, the moon, right? And then the masculine being your external world, the sun, your identity, your drive in life. And with the feminine being more of your heart and your emotions and your subconscious, we have the King of Cups being the conscious mind and, like I said, your identity, your ego, your mind. And with the feminine, we also have this kind of flowing state, whereas the masculine, we have more order and structure, right? So you can kind of get a sense of how on a day-to-day basis, and I don't mean in performative, gender normative ways, but I mean in what does it look like to embody feminine energy and masculine energy, allowing yourself to sleep in and rest and indulge in a treat can be feeding your internal state, right? Whereas waking up early, having a workout, having a productive 2-hour work block, that's that structure and order with your masculine, right? Both of those exist. You can't live in one of those states indefinitely, right? Like you have to be able to know when to embody which one, and you can embody them both in the same day within the span of a few hours, but being aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it and what your needs are is crucial. And another thing I want to talk about with the creative energy is we often associate the feminine with creative energy. The thing is that the feminine is this internal, or what I mean to say is the feminine is this vision, right? It's this kind of chaotic, flowing, whirling source of energy that the masculine then structures and orders into an outcome through action, right? Like the masculine is that action. And so understanding that if you're a business owner or if you're creating something like creating art, you're going to need both. You know, if you create a painting, you're not just purely in your feminine necessarily, just by nature of being creative and doing art, right? The feminine is the one that's channeling that flow state as you paint, but the masculine is the one that's setting aside the time to paint, that's creating an area for you that you can organize your painting supplies and you can have a designated space for you to do your artwork, and who's telling yourself, okay, we're going to paint on these days and at these hours because it's good for us to practice those skills, right? Like they're both working together in the same moment at the same time. So this is just a little bit of like a refresher or like a summary on how both the masculine and feminine are constantly at play with each other. And if you can make it more of just that, a play, like them playing together, think of them as dancing together versus them fighting or playing tug of war or, you know, trying to, like you may find is often the way it manifests between you and your twin flame, trying to make their point win or trying to get their point across or trying to win the argument or trying to get their way, where there's no, I don't want to say compromise, but I'm hearing like there's no undertones of joy because it's coming from a place of fear or pride or whatever it may be. So if you're noticing that there are things between you and your divine masculine, your twin flame, that you don't see eye to eye on, if you're able to see how, if you're able to boil it down to masculine versus feminine traits, you'll be able to better see how the duality is not the enemy, but just a very normal characterization of how energy exists on this 3D plane. And that, although again, we have boundaries, we want to be treated with respect, but we can at least have a higher understanding, like a bird's eye, plane's eye view of why there's conflict and why the duality is leading to conflict. So this isn't going to just magically solve, arguments or conflicts within the twin flame dynamic, but having that understanding, which you can especially practice on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour embodied experience in your own body, having that practice of understanding the how the masculine versus the feminine shows up can really help you then recognize, okay, this is where we're struggling, or this is the wounded feminine, this is the wounded masculine. These are ways that, we're not listening to our emotions, or, maybe we're too much, we have not enough structure and we need more structure, right? Like you can kind of get a sense when you learn to balance it internally of what it looks like to be balanced. Okay, and then with the judgment, I'm getting that this is like, once you balance the masculine and feminine, your awakening is completely jump-started. You're set free. You have a new beginning, circling back to the 10 of Swords, and I'm getting chills channeling this. You're able to evaluate your growth and recognize what was done in fear, what was done in love, and you let go of anything you don't want to bring with you, and you're having a new beginning. You're having an awakening. You're quite literally evolving in this lifetime. You don't have to look back on your past mistakes with shame or guilt or anger or fear that they'll come back. You forgive yourself, you forgive the other person, you really embody love and joy and just pure gratitude for the journey of this evolution. Like I said, this journey is a gift to you. You actually start to feel thankful for it. The judgment is this new start where you are, every aspect of your journey, you're so thankful for. You don't feel these triggers. And I mean, we'll never not be triggered by anything, but with this judgment card, I'm really feeling like you are in this new era. You're in this new realm where the things that used to trigger you, they simply bounce off of you. And you've just quite literally evolved out of those lower frequencies. And so just remember to really listen to your intuition, listen to your inner voice, because I'm getting that most of you listening are in separation with your twin flame. But even if you're not, and you're in this, you're in union with them, but maybe it's been turbulent or there's been conflict, then you're being given the opportunity to practice this masculine and feminine balance in real time. But for those of you who are not in contact with your twin flame and who are in separation, I'm getting that the best thing you can do right now is to open yourself up to seeing both perspectives of masculine and feminine, and recognizing how much you can improve your life and evolve your soul by working to balance that within you. Allowing your inner masculine to protect your inner feminine, allowing your inner feminine to nourish and nurture your inner masculine, so that they're not at war with each other, but they're taking care of each other. Because as within, so without, and everything is a mirror, right? Especially your twin flame, which is your soul. If you reach this union of self and this union of your inner masculine and inner feminine, you are going to see that reflected on the external. But it won't even matter at that point, because your internal world and how you feel in every moment of the day will be so fulfilled that the only part of you that wishes for it to be fulfilled in the external, which is a masculine concept, will be your ego, your mind, which is, again, a masculine concept. And so the beauty, which is why a lot of the divine feminines are typically the leaders in spiritual awakenings, is because the divine feminine literally represents the internal world. And you can reach union within that internal world, and then you'll see it reflected in the external, which is the masculine. So it's getting a little quantum, but you can kind of see what I'm talking about, right? Where you have a divine masculine and a divine feminine in your internal world, and you have a divine feminine and a divine masculine in your external world. And so you are working to kind of balance that on all levels. So I want to pull a couple. I'm actually going to pull, before I get to the oracle cards, I want to pull some astrology cards here. Again, take it as it resonates. It doesn't have to be literal, but for those of you who are listening this far, I feel like there's an astrology message for you. Again, take it as it resonates. We're having the Taurus and the number 2. So you may be dealing with the Taurus. You may be a Taurus, sun, moon, or rising. And we're also getting Jupiter. So very interesting. You may have Jupiter in Taurus in your birth chart. That's a very specific possibility. Alternatively, you may want to look at the Jupiter transits as they relate to your natal chart. So currently Jupiter is in Cancer. And so also the Jupiter, we get number 18. So that could be an angel number for you. But Jupiter is currently in Cancer. So if you look at your natal chart and see what you have there, if you're a Cancer sun, moon, or rising, or if you have other planets in Cancer, just know that Jupiter is crossing over that in your natal chart at this time. So take a look at what house that is for you, because that could also be significant. And let's pull one more card. Oh, we have Cancer. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I'm definitely getting like Jupiter in Cancer is a really important and benefic transit for you right now. So take a look, definitely. And with Cancer, we have the number 4. So take a look at your chart at what house Cancer rules, knowing that currently Jupiter is transiting through that house that Cancer rules. And of course, take a look at Taurus, but again, Taurus or Cancer, that could be representing the sun, moon, or rising of either yourself or the person you're dealing with. So however it resonates, I'm going to pull an oracle card here. Okay, we have Keep Your Dreams Alive, number 25. So this card is talking about, I'm really getting that this is so connected to the feminine and the masculine, right? The feminine is the vision. She's the source of infinite energy that is allowing you to have that vision of what you want your life to look like. And then your masculine side is the one that's going to plan and take action so that you can achieve those dreams and meet whatever goals you have. And with the union of them is how you're going to get your dreams to become your reality. So you may be feeling like if you don't have a strong vision of what you want or what it would look like to be in union with yourself or in union with your twin flame, then Spirit is asking you to take the time to go inward and really nourish your feminine side. You may want to have some meditative time. You may want to take a bath. You may just want to go for a walk and have time to ponder and visualize and really calm your mind down and allow your feminine creative energy and flow and vision to come to life. Alternatively, you may be feeling like you know exactly what you want, but there's something that it's getting stuck. And so in that case, your masculine needs to be planning more so what actions need to be taken so that you can manifest your dreams. If you're feeling like you know exactly what you want, but there's steps that you need to take to get there, then your masculine needs to come in and provide some order, provide some structure. So this card is all about taking those steps that's going to bring you closer to your dreams. Keep those dreams alive. Know that you're not alone, but you also are on such a unique journey for yourself that only you can know on an intuitive level what you need to do. And so honor that. Honor your intuitive power, and give yourself space to just be. This is really where we can get in touch with that creator energy. And that's what's going to keep your dreams alive. So I'm going to close this reading right here. I thank you so much for joining. If anything resonated, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And please subscribe, because I'm definitely going to be channeling more on these twin flame energies. I'm feeling like towards these last few months of the year, especially, there's going to be some heightened union energy. And I just want the collective to be guided so that, we have the tools to navigate it in the most peaceful and successful way. So thank you so much for listening. I'd love to see you subscribe or comment, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.